In this video, we are going to discuss chi-square distribution as a test of independence of attributes. Sometimes a population may be divided into different cells or categories according to some attributes. For example, two different attributes of a population may be gender and age, where gender is again divided into two categories, male and female, and age can be divided into various categories like 19 years to 25 years, 26 years to 30 years, and so on. In such distribution, we are interested in finding whether the two attributes are independent or not. This can be done by using chi-square distribution as a test of independence of attributes. So how to apply chi-square distribution as a test of independence of attributes? Suppose two attributes A and B of a population be divided into m into n classes into this table, which is called contingency table. Here we see that the attribute A has m classes and attribute B has n classes, and the number of observations in each class is given as Oij. Here O11 means number of observations having both A1 and B1 attribute. Similarly, O21 is the number of observations having both the attribute A2 and B1. In general, Oij will be the number of observations having both the attributes Ai and Bj. So here our problem is to test if the two attributes A and B are independent or not. So in such table where the data has been divided into various classes according to two different attributes A and B, we have to test if the two attributes A and B are independent or not. So here in this table, R1 is the total of first row, R2 is the total of second row, and so on. Similarly, C1 is the total of first column, C2 is the total of second column, and so on. So here R1 means the total number of observations having attribute A1. Similarly, R2 is the total number of observations having attribute A2, and so on. Similarly, C1 is the total number of observations having the attribute B1, and so on. So here our problem is to test if the two attributes A and B are independent or not. So for this purpose, we always set null hypothesis like this. That means null hypothesis is always the attributes are independent. So here the data has been given on the basis of assumption that attributes are independent, and H1 we always set like this: the attributes are dependent or the attributes are not independent. So we may set one of the three null hypothesis along with the corresponding alternative hypothesis. Then our problem is to find expected frequencies Eij in each class. So expected number of frequencies in each class can be computed like this. So here from the table we see that the probability of an observation having Ai attribute is total number of observations having Ai attribute, that means Ri, divided by total number of observations. Similarly, probability of an observation having Bj attribute is equal to the total number of observations having Bj attribute divided by the total number of observations. And probability that an observation has both the attributes Ai and Bj is equal to probability that the observation has Ai attribute into probability that the observation has Bj attribute. Because both the attributes are independent, we have assumed that both the attributes are independent. So using this law of probability for independent events, and this is equal to Ri upon n, and this is equal to Cj upon n. So this is Ri into Cj upon n square. So this is the probability that an observation has both the attributes Ai and Bj. Then the expected number of items having both the attributes Ai and Bj is given by Eij equal to n into total number of observation into probability of having both the attributes Ai and Bj. So that is given by Ri into Cj upon n. So this formula will be used to find the expected number of observations in each class. Then the test statistic chi-square is given by summation of Oij minus Eij whole square upon Eij at nu equal to m minus 1 into n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So here degrees of freedom will be m minus 1 into n minus 1, because total m minus 1 rows are independent and total n minus 1 columns are independent. Remaining one column and remaining one row both are dependent to make the sum equal to Ri and Cj. So total number of degrees of freedom will be m minus 1 into n minus 1. Now one important care while applying this test: if any of the expected frequencies is less than 5, that means if any of the frequencies Eij, we have to merge this class with another class or neighboring class to make it greater than 5. In such case, the degrees of freedom will reduce. So this is how you find the expected number of observations in each cell, and this is the test statistic. For example, the results of a survey regarding radio listeners' preference for different types of music are given in the following table, with listeners classified the age group. Is the preference of type of music influenced by age? So here you have been given this data where type of music has three categories: a national, foreign, classical, and age group has also three categories: 19 to 25, 26 to 35, and above 36. And the total number of observations have been divided into these classes. 80 people in the age group of 19 to 25 like national music. Similarly, 325 people in the age group of 26 and 35 like foreign music, and so on. So this is the table. Now here we want to find whether type of music and age group both are independent or not. So for this purpose, we set H0 as the preference of type of music is independent of age. So this is how we set H0 always. We assume that the attributes are independent, and together with this H0 we set H1. The preference of type of music is dependent on age. That means we always set H1 like the attributes are dependent or attributes are not independent. Now how to find the expected frequencies in each class? This is the formula for finding expected frequencies in each class. So first of all, we have to write the total of each row and each column. So we have prepared this total row and total column, and here to find this expected number of frequency in the first cell, we use the formula 306 into 230 divided by 1002. So total number of observations is 1002 and row sum is 230 and column sum is 306. So this number will give this observation 70, expected number of observations, which is 70. So this comes out as 70. In fact, this is 70.24 or something, which have been rounded off to 70. So here in each class you have to round off the numbers. You should not write decimal part of the numbers. You have to round off the numbers. So here we have rounded off this calculation to 70. Similarly, this 99 has been obtained using the formula 430 into 230 divided by 1002. So here column sum is 430, row sum is 230. So if we find this calculation, this is equal to 99. In fact, this is 98 point something. So we are rounded off to 99. Now, once you find these two observations, expected number of frequencies, then you should not calculate the expected frequency in this cell. You just write 230 minus 99 minus 70. So whatever number is there, you should write here. So here we find that 230 minus 70 minus 99 is 61. So we write here 61, and then we find that this sum is equal to 230. So this cell is not independent. This cell is dependent on these two. Similarly, 177 has been obtained using 306, this column sum, into this row sum 579 divided by 1002. So whatever number we get here, we round it off to 177. So this 177 has been obtained using this. Similarly, 248 has been obtained using 430, this column sum, into 579 divided by 1002. So this is for 248. This is rounded off to nearest integer. And this number 154, you should not calculate this. You should write 579 minus 248 minus 177. So this number is 154. So you should not calculate the frequencies in the last column. And also, while writing the frequencies in the column, you must calculate only this first cell and the second cell. In the third cell, you should write 306 minus 177 minus 70. So this number 59 is 306 minus 177 minus 7. Similarly, this number 83 is 430 minus 248 minus 99. So you should not calculate this 83, 59 and 51. They can be obtained using total minus sum of these two. So in this way, this row is also dependent. This row is dependent on the first and second rows. Similarly, this column is dependent on first and second column. Therefore, this is the contingency table. So once you have prepared this contingency table, then you should apply this chi-square test. So chi-square statistic is obtained by taking the difference 80 minus 70 whole square divided by 70. Similarly, 60 minus 99 whole square divided by 99. 90 minus 61 whole square divided by 61, and so on. So we prepare this sum, and we find that this sum is 316.59. Now here degrees of freedom is 3 minus 1 into 3 minus 1, because we have been given a table of 3 by 3 size. So total degrees of freedom will be 3 minus 1 into 3 minus 1. That means 4. Because total 4 observations in this table are independent and others are dependent. And the critical value at 4 degrees of freedom at level of significance 5 is 9.488 from the table. So if we compare this, we find that the test statistic is greater than the critical value. Therefore, the preference of type of music is influenced by age. These are not independent. H0 is rejected. Therefore, the preference of type of music is influenced by age. So this is how you apply chi-square distribution as a test of independence of attributes. Thank you very much.